Hello, everyone. Today's topic is what happens when we don't know the value of life and the clarity that Buddhism brings. 2024 saw a significant rise in the number of indiscriminate attacks and killings reported in China, with a spate of high-profile cases taking place within the final few months of the year. At the end of September, a man went on a stabbing spree in a Walmart in Shanghai, killing 3 people and injuring 15. In October, a stabbing attack near a prestigious primary school in Beijing left 5 injured. In November, a car attack in a stadium in southern China left 35 dead and 45 injured. In the same week, 8 people died and 17 were injured in a knife attack at a school in eastern China. Then, just a few days after that, 30 people were left injured after a man rammed his car into a crowd outside a school in central China. People have surmised that this string of attacks could be related to economic troubles in China. However, China is far from the only place in the world where indiscriminate attacks happen, and the real reason why these incidents take place likely runs much deeper than the economy. What, then, fuels attacks like these? Let us explore the causes from a Buddhist point of view. We will cover these 3 points. 1. Indiscriminate attacks. 2. Lack of meaning in life. 3. Destroying the darkness, fulfilling the wish. In recent times, with China's economy deteriorating, unemployment is high, and so are levels of resentment and dissatisfaction towards society. The decreasing morale has also led to a rise in suicides, with people left feeling there is no hope for the future. All this brewing bitterness, rage, and despair can become a deadly concoction when put together, pushing people to lash out at others. This may well be a factor in the spate of indiscriminate attacks in China. These attacks are notable partly because so many of them happened in such a short span of time, but indiscriminate attacks are something that happens all over the world. Over the past decade or so in neighboring Japan, some of the most notorious of such incidents have included a stabbing on a bullet train traveling from Tokyo to Osaka in 2018 that left 2 injured and 1 dead, the 2019 Kyoto animation arson attack that left 32 injured and 36 dead, and an arson and stabbing attack on a Keio Line train in Tokyo in 2021 that left 1 man injured and surviving witnesses traumatized. In the Keio Line case, the perpetrator mentioned that his crime was inspired by a similar attack on Tokyo's Odakyu Line 2 months prior that left 3 injured. Going to the other side of the world, the United States of America has long had a problem with gun violence, with shootings at schools or other public establishments having become a tragically regular occurrence. Multiple times after high-profile shootings, Time magazine has run covers bearing the word enough, as well as a list of all the American cities where mass shootings had taken place so far that year. Clearly, people are tired of the constant violence, but solutions seem hard to come by. Some say gun laws should be tightened, which is a suggestion that is inevitably opposed by those who strongly believe it is their right as American citizens to bear arms. Others insist that arming teachers would help keep children safe from school shootings. The arguments and anger over the matter go on perpetually to little avail, and although the number of mass shootings fell in 2024 compared to the previous 4 years, there is, sadly, no end in sight to attacks like these. There is no country in this world that is free from indiscriminate attacks. But what exactly is it that pushes people to act out in violence against others? Why is it that attacks like these take place? We might begin to gain a picture of the causes behind this violence if we take an honest look within ourselves first of all. Ask yourself this. Have you never once felt so angry, so frustrated, that you felt an urge to destroy? Have you never been so irritated or upset by someone that you thought about hitting them or strangling them? Have you never wished for your school or workplace to be destroyed so that you wouldn't have to go there anymore? Of course, you might not have actually acted on or expressed these thoughts, as you are likely aware that carrying them out is widely considered wrong. But there is probably no one who can genuinely say they have never ever had a single violent thought. In Buddhism, it is taught that the mind is the source of all actions of the mouth and body, meaning that everything we say and do begins as thought. This being the case, of the mind, mouth, and body, Buddhism places the most importance on the mind. If we are to understand why people would commit certain physical actions, then we need to examine what it is that produces the mental state leading to those actions. Let us therefore explore what Buddhism has to say regarding this. China is also not the only place where people are feeling burdened with economic troubles. Economic disparity is at an all-time high worldwide, with the top 26 richest people reportedly enjoying as much wealth as 3.8 billion ordinary working adults put together. Prices everywhere are rising while wages stagnate, and an increasing number of young people find themselves forced to live with their parents well into adulthood because they simply cannot afford to pay rent, let alone a mortgage. This negatively impacts their ability to live independently and start a family, which decreases life satisfaction and increases the sense of hopelessness and resentment. When life is a losing battle, what exactly is there to live for? With no concrete answer to this question, life might well seem empty and meaningless. Stuck in the endless repetition of the daily grind, while things only ever seem to get worse and worse, all that the future seems to offer is darkness. Buddhism identifies this as darkness of mind. Darkness of mind means not knowing what it is that we are living for. The opposite, brightness of mind, means having the peace and joy of knowing for certain what the purpose of life is. Being in the dark about the purpose of life means we will easily lose our motivation and will to go on when life seems to become nothing but a series of difficulties. Not only that, but if we do not know what it is that makes life worth living, it can make it very difficult to see other people's lives as precious too. If we see no value in others' lives, that makes it all the easier to take out our own despair on them. One anonymous Japanese man in his 20s said, "I don't have a reason to die, but I don't have a reason to live either, and I'm contemplating suicide. I've been thinking of buying a motorbike, but it won't be for 3 more months that I will have saved up enough money for it. It's a real pain that you can't put life on fast forward. I can't deal with waiting another 3 months, so I'm thinking of ending it. I mean, I probably won't actually do it. I'm more the type to go and cause trouble, I think. I get angry and start feeling like I'll snap. I've got no reason to snap, though. There's just nothing. Because there's nothing, I'm just so tired of it all, which makes me feel like I'm gonna snap, and that makes me want to die. I don't have any friends either, or a girlfriend. Life is just so dull. I work and work, then finally it's my day off and I've got some free time, but there's nothing for me to do. Then it's back to work again. Can't I just fast forward it all? When life is but a tedious repetition of same things, different day, when it feels like you're endlessly, aimlessly running on a treadmill, while people urge you to keep going. Run faster. Fight the good fight. Can life really feel like something of value? Buddhism calls this repetition the endless cycle of sufferings. All people are trapped in this cycle, Buddhism teaches, but thankfully it is not all there is to life. There is a way to escape it. How do we get out of the cycle of suffering then? First, we have to know the cause, and that cause, Buddhism teaches, is darkness of mind. The purpose of Buddhism is destroying the darkness and fulfilling the wish. That darkness is darkness of mind, the suffering of not knowing what life is really for, and the wish fulfilled is our ultimate desire. to find true, lasting peace and joy that makes us genuinely glad to have been born. In Dazai Osamu's novel, The Setting Sun, the main character says in a letter, "Oh, how I wish to feel glad that I was born, to rejoice in life, in people, in the world. If life, people, and the world seem only to be a curse, it is easy for resentment and anger to build up, which may translate to violent action, whether it be towards oneself, others, or both. Having that darkness eliminated and gaining a clear picture of the real value of life will fill you with heartfelt delight at having had the great fortune to have been born." In the words of Sakyamuni Buddha, human form is difficult to obtain. Now I have already obtained it. Oh, what a marvel it is to have obtained human form and thereby been blessed with this chance to fulfill my ultimate purpose. Oh, how joyous it is to have finally achieved my greatest wish. This effervescent bliss that fills our being once our darkness is dispelled and wish fulfilled is called absolute peace and joy or absolute happiness. Attaining this absolute peace and joy is the very purpose of listening to Buddhism. The Japanese Buddhist master Shinran dedicated his life to conveying its existence. In a hymn, he taught that the darkness of the long night is destroyed and the wish of sentient beings is fulfilled. The darkness of the long night refers to the emptiness and hopelessness of not knowing what it is that we were born for. This darkness has been plaguing us for a long, long time, but once it is destroyed, we will be freed from it forever. Basking from that moment on in the light we had always wished to find, we will know with utmost certainty that this was the very thing we were born to achieve, and we will at last be able to feel truly glad that we were born. Master Shinran was conveying to us that we too can obtain this extraordinary happiness if we listen intently to Buddhism. Master Shinran himself came to know the joy of having darkness destroyed and the wish fulfilled thanks to being taught of it by his master, Honen. He expressed his gratitude towards Master Honen in a poem, "Never in all my lives, in eons past, did I know the strong power for liberation. Were it not for the true teacher, Genku, this life should have ended in vain as well." Buddhism teaches that we live not just the present life, but many lives before this one, as well as an endless succession of lifetimes after this one. For all the thousands upon thousands of years that Master Shinran had spent going from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, he had never been able to encounter the strong power for liberation. This is the transcendent power that eliminates the darkness which has kept us trapped in the endless cycle of suffering for so long. Now at last he had been liberated from the cycle of suffering, and it was all thanks to the guidance of his master, Honen. A true Buddhist master is one who teaches the most important thing in life, the purpose of our lives. Before meeting Master Honen, Master Shinran himself did not know what the real purpose of his life was. He was keenly aware, then, that if he had never met Master Honen, he would never have escaped the endless cycle of suffering, and would have continued to be lost in total darkness long past the end of his present lifetime. Life is as fleeting as a dewdrop. Here 1 minute, gone the next. And so there had been every chance that Master Shinran could die before ever even getting to meet Master Honen. Thankfully, though, things did not happen that way, and so Master Shinran's life did not end in vain, without him ever managing to accomplish the true purpose he had been born for. Now he was finally free from the darkness he had long been burdened with, and every moment he lived, every breath he took, was nothing short of a blessing. If you find that your life is a tedious, hopeless repetition of waking, eating, and sleeping, and you can't see what the point of your life, or anyone's life, could possibly be, know that you are not doomed to a bleak and meaningless existence. You too can obtain the absolute happiness of being forever liberated from the darkness that shrouds your every day. Once you do, The real value of your life will be made unambiguously clear to you, and you will finally be able to rejoice in a true sense. How glad I am to have been born human. The infinite value of everyone else's life will be firmly, joyously apparent to you also. Master Shinran clarified the path towards the attainment of this absolute happiness, so if you listen intently to Buddhism, you are sure to be freed from darkness and finally gain everlasting peace of mind and joy. This channel explores what it is that Master Shinran taught from a variety of different angles, so if you'd like to learn more, why don't you hit that subscribe button so you'll know whenever we release a new video. Thank you for watching.